What's going on, guys? Brother Russia here, back with another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. And in today's video, we're actually going to be going over the global data download for all of the heroes units that we just got. So as you guys can see, there is a massive amount of units that have gotten easy A's, new units that are dropping. So I kind of wanted to go over everything and kind of see what all was in this data download that we just got. So first thing we're going to talk about is we'll kind of go over the brand new units that are going to be dropping. So it's actually going to be all of these from the modified Janemba all the way to the full power Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Vegito. So let's kind of go into Vegito here. So shout out to the Dokkan Wiki. They do an amazing job. I mean, we got all the info for all the cards. I mean, everything is here. So we'll kind of go over them just real briefly. Just kind of talk about them. I'll give my kind of like my opinions and everything on them, and kind of go from there. So first one we're gonna do is we got the Super Full Power Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Vegito. So that's a mouthful to try to say there, but basically Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. He is a Dragon Ball Heroes, Giant 8 Power, and Fused Fighter category. Key plus 3, attack, HP, and defense 170. And then 30% to crossover. So the 30% to crossover does kind of, it is kind of like unfortunate essentially, just because a lot of the crossover units is where you'll get like, I mean, like you basically have to run them on like a Dragon Ball Heroes style like team in order to get a full like 200% leader skill, just because Fused Fighter and Giant 8 Power, there are units that are on. I mean, there's a lot of good units like, you know, LR Super Saiyan 4 Full Power Goku, stuff like that. Like they are on, you know, like Giant 8 Power, but they're not going to get the crossover, unfortunately. But let's see what he does. Activates the entrance animation upon the character's entry. Once only. Chance of performing a crit for 30, or chance to perform a crit plus 30%, and reduce damage received by 30% for 6 turns from the character's entry turn. So he gets 30% crit and 30% damage reduction for 6 turns. He gets key plus 3, attack and defense 200%. That's just off the get-go. Plus an additional attack and defense 150% when you perform a super, and then plus an additional attack and defense 100%, and a great chance of launching an additional super attack when there's another Giant 8 Power or crossover category ally attacking in the same turn, or a Giant 8 Power or crossover category enemy. So that actually, I do like how they worded that. So it's either crossover or Giant 8 Power. So you can actually run him on a Giant 8 Power team, and he can still get a lot of that extra damage as long as you have, you know, the units around it. And chance performing a crit plus 40% and reduce damage received by 30% when all allies attacking the same turn are Giant 8 Power or crossover category characters. So again, that's actually really good that it's Giant Ape or crossover. So I mean, he seems like he's going to be a really good unit. His active skill can be activated when all allies attacking the same turn are crossover category characters. Ugh. Starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle, or starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle once only. Okay, so it's either 3rd turn on a crossover category or just 6th turn just overall. So the 6th turn kind of does suck, but it is what it is. Greatly raises the attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage to enemy, and within the turn activated, all attacks become criticals. So that's good. That's actually a really good active. And then on his super attack, it is raises attack for 1 turn and causes immense damage to enemy. So I did read this before. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of is the fact that he doesn't raise defense. But I guess with him being him having like essentially like 60% damage reduction here, plus he's getting 200 defense here, 150 here, another 100 here. I mean, he's gonna have pretty good defense, I would say. So I think he should be a really good unit, though. Link's Super Saiyan, Shock and Speed, Prepare for Battle, Power Bestowed by God, Fuse Fighter, Saiyan Roar, Fierce Battle. Actually, a really good Link set. Categories: Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Patara, Fuse Fighter, Full Power, Giant Ape. Time Limit, Final Trump Card, Time Travelers, Defenders of Justice, Battle of Wits, Accelerated Battle, Crossover, and Dragon Ball Heroes. And his best linking partner, actually, surprisingly, is well, it's not surprising, but it's the physical Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, which just got an easy A, so he's going to run amazingly with him on a crossover team. But this AGL Super Vegito, you get 6 links with him, so that's actually really good, considering he's also on Fuse Fighter, so you can run the two of them together. So that's kind of let's see, that's Vegito by himself. Next is the Super Full Power Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Broly, or Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Broly. So he's a time traveler category, 130%. It's, you know, he's kind of like a side banner unit, which is surprising because you would assume that he would probably be like one of the main units, but okay. Key +3 attack and defense 200% right off the rip. Plus an additional attack and defense 100% when attacking. Launch an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super. Launches an additional super attack when facing 2 or more enemies. Launches another additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super when there is a Fuse Fighter category enemy. Okay, so he's got a lot of additional that he can do, but he's got no crit built into his kit, like, at all. He's got no crit at all, so probably gonna have to build him essentially crit because he doesn't have any. Super attack effect raises defense for 4 turns, costs supreme damage to enemy. Brutal beatdown, Saiyan Warrior Race, Super Saiyan Prepare for Battle, Nightmare Saiyan Roar, Fierce Battle. Let's see, categories: Pure Saiyan, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Full Power, Giant Ape Power, Time Traveler, Crossover, and Dragon Ball Heroes. So he actually gets a perfect 7 links with his tech counterpart, which just got an easy A as well. So I think this Broly will probably be okay. He might just hit hard, but he just doesn't have much of anything else other than, hey, just additional. That's about it. He's just the Unga Boonga character. So next we got the Crimson Mass Saiyan, Super Saiyan 3 Rose. So he is the other headliner unit along with the Vegito. He is, oh, I meant to say, the Vegito is AGL, the Broly is Int, Rose is physical. So him being physical is actually really good because Extreme Fizz needs a lot of help. So him being on here is actually going to be good for us. So he's a Dragon Ball Hero Super Saiyan 3 or Transformation Boost category, key +3, and then 170 across the board, and additional 30% to crossover, which is pretty standard for him. But Super Saiyan 3 getting a new leader is actually really good, and being a 170 across the board, I mean, it's still gonna be pretty good. And there's actually a lot of Super Saiyan 3 Heroes units, so him leading this category it's solid. Let's see, what's he do? So he does have a transformation, obviously. So in his base form, key +3 attack and defense 180%, plus an additional attack and defense 150% when he attacks. High chance of guarding all attacks. Ugh, high chance kind of sucks, but especially since we have no indicator for it. Plus an additional defense 100% and guard all attacks when there are another 3 or more crossover category allies on the team. Okay, so as long as you run him on a crossover team, then he guards and gets additional 100% defense. That's pretty good. Launches an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super when there is an enemy whose name includes Goku. Youth, Ginyu, Junior, etc. excluded. transformation or transforms when conditions are met. So his 12 key is raises attack, so he stacks attack and then raises defense for 1 turn and causes immense damage to enemy. Brutal Beatdown, Super Saiyan, Godly Power, Prepare for Battle, Nightmare, Fear and Faith, and then Fierce Battle. No big bad bosses, so that's kind of unfortunate for a Rose unit, but I guess that's just heroes, unfortunately. Super Saiyan 3, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Transformation Boost, Realm of Gods, Full Power, Power of Wishes, Corroded Body and Mind, that's actually a buff for them. Time Traveler, Inhuman Deeds, it's a buff for them. Accelerated Battle, Crossover in Dragon Ball Heroes. And his transformation is transforms from the 5th turn from the start of battle, so you just transforms. Okay. Once he transforms, he is recovering 40% HP from the next, or once only, and from the next turn onward, recover 15% HP at the start of turn. That's actually pretty good. That's actually really good. Key +4 and attack and defense 200%. I don't think he's gonna need much key being on a crossover team. Plus an additional attack and defense 150% when attacking. Raises attack and defense by up to an additional 150%. The more HP remaining, the greater the stat boost. He unconditionally just guards all attacks when he transforms. And launch an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super if there is an enemy whose name includes Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. And then launches another additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super. So basically, if you're going against like a Super Saiyan blue unit, then he's actually going to be pretty good against him. And then raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes immense damage to enemy. So I think he's going to be pretty good. I would say as long as you're running him, like probably against Super Saiyan Blue Goku or Vegeta or something like that, he's actually going to hit pretty hard, especially with 200% attack and 200% attack here, an additional 150 when he attacks, and then the more HP you have, another 150. So he should hit pretty hard. So I think I like it. I like him. What we got next? So I love the card art for this Vegeta. I initially heard that he's not very good, but I just like the aura around him. But he's going to be tech. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta, Berserk controlled. He's a 130% crossover category leader. Let's see, key +3, attack and defense 180%, so pretty standard right now. Medium chance of performing a crit, plus an additional attack and defense 50% and a chance of performing a critical hit plus 10% per Dragon Ball Heroes category ally. Self-excluded, attacking in the same turn. Okay, so you can get up to what? Per Dragon Ball here. Okay, so you can get up to an additional 150% attack and defense and crit plus 30% if you run them on a Dragon Ball Heroes category. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 40% with each super attack performed up to 120, so he needs to do at least 3 to fully build up. Plus an additional attack 120% and chance of performing a crit plus 50% when facing only 1 enemy at the start of turn. And launches an additional attack and a high chance of evading enemies' attacks, including super when facing 2 or more. Okay. And then his super raises defense for 1 turn, disables enemy's guard, and causes supreme damage to the enemy. Alright, well, he's got a lot of crit in here. So medium chance to perform crit here. Chance performing a crit plus 10% here. And then chance performing a critical hit plus 50% when facing only 1 enemy. And he raises defense on super, so he would probably be like an additional dodge build, I would say. Because I mean, well, he does get some pretty good defense here, here, and here. So he might be okay, but I'd say probably additional and dodge would probably be the way to go with him. Saiyan Warrior Race Prodigy, Super Saiyan, Royal Lineage, Saiyan Pride, Prepare for Battle, and Fierce Battle. Pure Saiyan, Vegeta Family, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Realm of Gods, Miraculous Awakening, Worthy Rivals, Bond Parent-Child, Sibling Bond, Bond of Master and Disciple, Gifted Warriors, Time Travelers, Crossover, and Dragon Ball Heroes. So his best partners are this Easy 8 Int Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, the Tech Super Saiyan Vegeta, and then like the transforming physical Super Saiyan Vegeta. But you need to run him on a Dragon Ball Heroes team in order to get like this additional attack and defense and from a form of crit. So you could probably run him on like a Vegeta family, like Dragon Ball Heroes style, but I mean, he's heavily restricted. He's heavily restricted to that team. So let's see. Next, we're going to go with Dark King Fu. I know I skipped Toa, but we'll go back to her just because she's a free-to-play unit. But we'll go back to her. So, Dark King Fu, Battle of Wits, 130%. Attack and defense, 150%. Plus an additional attack and defense, 150% when performing a super. Extreme class allies, attack and defense, 30%. Okay, so he's a support. No key, though, but okay. Randomly change key spheres of a certain type, STR excluded, to STR when there are another 3 or more crossover category allies on the team. An additional attack 100% with a STR key sphere obtained. So as long as you just get one STR key sphere, you get an additional attack 100%. Chance of evading enemies' attack, including super, plus 10% up to 50. And extreme class allies key plus 1 up to 5, plus an additional attack and defense plus 4% up to 20 per STR or rainbow key sphere obtained. Whichever key sphere is collected more will be counted. Okay, so that's actually kind of cool. So you can get up to 50% dodge, up to 5 key and additional. And up to 20%, as long as you get 5 STR orbs or 5 rainbow key spheres. So Dark King Fu's he doesn't sound too terrible. On his super, raises defense for 1 turn, costs supreme damage, and seals. Okay, pretty good. Demonic Power, Brainiacs, Cold Judgment, Big Bad Bosses. Oh, he gets Big Bad Bosses. Godly Power, Fear and Faith, and Fierce Battle. I'm surprised that he gets big bad bosses, but like the other ones don't. He's very limited to categories though. Realm of Gods, Time Traveler, Battle of Wits, Accelerated Battle, Crossover, and Heroes. Looks like the Demigra is probably going to be his best linking partner. Hearts has 4, so you can at least run him on like a Heroes team. But he seems pretty good. I mean, like a really good extreme class support unit. So those are the 5 new like summonable units that are coming out for Heroes. We'll check out Golden Metal Cooler. So he's getting his Awakening here. So he's gonna be a 150% crossover leader. Attack and defense 200%, plus an additional attack and defense 80% if HP is 50% or more when performing a super. Launch an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack. Reduce damage received by 20%, so he's got damage reduction. Key plus 1 up to 5, plus an additional attack 40% up to 200%, and an additional damage reduction of 8% up to 40% per crossover category ally on the team. So, of course, you got to run him on crossover. Character's super attack will be sealed if HP is 20% or less at the start of turn. I mean, this last part right here, you probably never have to worry about, because if you're ever down to about 20%, you're probably close to being dead anyway. And the way bosses hit now, it's very unlikely that you'll be at a 20% threshold. So you'll almost never have to worry about this little debuff here. Super attack greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, costs supreme damage to enemy. Strongest clan in space, auto regeneration, fusion, deficit boost. Okay. Shocking speed, cold judgment, and shattering the limit. I don't remember what deficit boost is. Oh wow, it's just metal cooler units. And it's the free-to-play metal cooler ones of all things. So like you're just like a dead Link, because you're almost never gonna run him with these metal coolers anyway. So like that's such a stupid Link. All right, okay, Dokkan, whatever. Artificial life form category, wicked bloodline, transformation boost, full power, corroded body and mind, resurrected warriors, crossover, and Dragon Ball Heroes. And of course, his best linking partners are the free-to-play Metal Cooler Army. Just, gosh, that is just so dumb. Yeah, I don't know about him. Him being restricted to needing to be ran on a crossover team, but then his best linking partners are free-to-play units of the Metal Cooler Army. It's just, I don't know. I don't like that at all. And modified Janemba. So he's tech, crossover, 150%. Launch an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack when facing 2 or more enemies, and guards all attacks for 5 turns from the character's start of turn. So, okay, we got unconditional guard. Attack and defense 40% per crossover category ally on the team, up to 200%. Additional attack 80% with each attack performed, up to 240%. So as long as you get 3 of them, he'll be fully built up. Plus an additional defense 160% with each attack received, so he's got to get hit 3 times to fully build up that. Key +2 and great chance of performing a crit starting from the character's next attacking turn after the character performs or receives the 5th attack in battle. Okay. Super attack. Causes supreme damage to enemy, raises attack and defense by 30%, and lowers enemies' attack and defense for 3 turns. Links are Brutal Beatdown, Metamorphosis, Big Bad Bosses, Shocking Speed, Nightmare, Fear and Faith, Shattering the Limit, and he's on Corroded Body and Mind, Accelerated Battle, Crossover, and Heroes. Of course, his best partners are the Janembas that are not on Crossover, and the AGL Deborah. That's not a bad one, especially if you're gonna run him on a Heroes team. Oh, he awakens with free-to-play medals. Nice. So he doesn't seem too terrible. I think he might be pretty runnable on the Heroes team. So that's all the new units. Well, I guess let's check out Toa real quick, because Toa is free-to-play. So Dragon Ball Heroes, 50%. So she'll probably easy A next year, because she just got the 50% flat boost here. Let's see, she's attack and defense 150%, plus an additional attack and defense 100% when performing a super. Medium chance of evading enemies' attacks, including super, as the 2nd or 3rd attacker in a turn. Okay. All allies attack and defense plus 20% when there are 3 or more extreme category allies on the team. So she supports but doesn't give them key. Plus an additional attack and defense 50% when performing a super attack. All allies, I guess I'm doing this again. All allies key +1 and attack and defense 10%, and changes AGL to STR key sphere when all allies are in the Dragon Ball Heroes category. Okay, so just 1 key and 10% if all allies are in the Dragon Ball Heroes category. Okay, so she supports all of them, not just extreme. So she does give extreme only 20% up here if you have 3 or more extreme class allies on the team. But down here, she's giving all allies key +1 and attack and defense +10. Okay. Super attack greatly raises attack for 1 turn, causes supreme damage to the enemy. Demonic Power, Solid Support, Battlefield Diva, Master of Magic, Thirst for Conquest, Scientist, Shattering the Limit. She's on Peppy Gals, Siblings Bond, Resurrected Warriors, Time Travelers, Terrifying Conqueror, Battle of Wits, Crossover, and Dragon Ball Heroes. And her best linking partners are everybody from Heroes. So, best links are going to be with Demon Goddess Toa and just the AGL Toa. So, she'll probably be good next year. Not so much this year, unfortunately, just because of her not having an easy A yet, but maybe next year when they awaken her, give her an easy A, she might be pretty decent. So let's hop into the easy A's real quick. Video's a little bit longer than I want it to be, but we'll just kind of go through these ones real quick. So Lags, she's the free-to-play unit from last year. So let's see, let's go to her easy A stats here. Fiddle, swap over. Maybe we gotta refresh the page, maybe. Okay, there we go. I don't know what's going on there. So she's gonna become a Dragon Ball Heroes category 3 key 3 77% or int type key 3 and 50%. Attack and defense 160% plus an additional attack and defense 80% when performing a super. Medium chance of evading enemy super attack. Key plus 2 plus an additional chance of evading, including super attacks, 20% when there are another 2 or more Dragon Ball Heroes categories allies on the team. Plus an additional attack 80% if the enemy's HP is 80% or less when attacking, and if that target enemy's HP is 50% or less when attacking, launch an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super. Chance of performing a crit up to 50% every time the character attacks an enemy who is in attack down status, in defense down status, stunned, or sealed. So she raises attack and defense for 1 turn on a super, causes supreme damage, lowers attack and defense, and seal. So as long as you can debuff with her, then she's going to get a higher chance to crit. Innocence, Solid Support, Cold Judgment, Battlefield Diva, Loyalty, Shattering the Limit, Peppy Gals, Resurrected Warriors, Space Traveling Warriors, Time Traveler, Crossover, and Dragon Ball Heroes. And our best linking partner is going to be Robel. She's probably okay. I mean, she's just a free-to-play unit, so she might be alright. A lot of these like Heroes free-to-play units, unfortunately, just won't get a lot of like play later on, so she might be okay. Who we got next? So we'll just go with Deborah. So with his easy A, he's gonna be a Dragon Ball Heroes category, key 4 and 150%. Key plus 1 or key plus 3 and attack and defense 150%, plus an additional attack and defense 150%. Attacked enemies attack and defense minus 35% for 2 turns if you can debuff them, and launch an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super when only facing 1 enemy. Plus an additional attack 150% when the target enemy is in attack down or defense down. Plus an additional attack 50% and reduced damage received by 10% per existing enemy. Count starts from the 3rd enemy. Plus an additional attack 100% and defense 200%, and high chance of evading enemies' attacks when facing 2 or more enemies. So, count starts from the 3rd enemy. I feel like you're not gonna see a lot of this because there's not a lot of fights that have more than 3 enemies. Unless like the new like the red zones or something might have them, but I highly doubt it. So greatly raise defense for 1 turn, cause immense damage with high chance of stunning. Loyalty, Shock and Speed, Brutal Beatdown, Master of Magic, Nightmare, Fear and Faith, Shattering the Limit, Siblings Bond, Time Traveler, Dragon Ball Seekers, Terrifying Conqueror, Crossover, Dragon Ball Heroes, and his best linking partner is going to be the Extreme Int Deborah, but he actually gets 5 links with the Tech Modified Janemba, so he might be okay. We'll definitely give him a test in game. Super Mira, Dragon Ball Heroes. What do you get? Oh, he was just 100%. Okay, so he gets Dragon Ball Heroes category or Extreme STR 130%. Attack 200%, defense 100%, disables enemy guard, plus an additional attack and defense 50% when performing a super. Key +2 and launches an additional super when all allies attacking in the same turn are Dragon Ball Heroes category characters. Attacked enemies, attack and defense -30% for 2 turns, plus an additional attack 100% and great chance of performing a crit when the attacked enemy is in attack down or defense down. There's a lot of these like extreme class units seem to have this. Like they have to be in attack down or defense down in order to do more damage. Greatly raises defense, greatly raises attack for 1 turn, and causes supreme damage. So greatly raises defense, greatly raises attack for 1 turn. So he stacks defense? I think he stacks defense and then greatly raises attack for 1 turn. So if he's stacking defense, he might be pretty good. 10,700 defense, so it's not gonna be bad. Android Assault, Demonic Power, Berserker, Tough as Nails, Nightmare, Fear and Faith, Shattering the Limit. He's on Android's Artificial Life Form, Resurrected Warrior, Time Traveler, Revenge, crossover in Dragon Ball Heroes, and his best linking partner is gonna be the Super Mira, Mira Final Form, I guess as they would call him. Unfortunately, he doesn't have an EZA yet, which, I mean, they should have gave him one, because we're going to talk about the Trunks, but the Xeno Trunks is getting an EZA. It'd be nice if they would have just EZA'd the other Xenoverse units. So next, these two are probably the ones I'm kind of really intrigued about because they are a very good combo to run because they actually link up very well. It's actually a really cool sticker too. So he's Dragon Ball Heroes or Extreme Int, 130%. Key +2, attack and defense 150%, plus an additional defense 150 for 5 turns after receiving an attack, which is pretty good. Plus an additional attack 50% with each attack received up to 150, so he needs to get hit 3 times at least. Plus an additional defense 100% and guard all attacks when there's another Dragon Ball Heroes category ally attacking in the same turn. Recover 10 HP of damage dealt as HP. So as long as you got some crit on this guy, and you do a lot of damage, you're going to be recovering a lot of HP. This right here, you run him with the Dark Mask King, or I'm sorry, the Dark Mask Saiyan that just got a EZA, and they're like an unstoppable combo. Like you run this Dark Mask King slot 1, and then you run this Black Mask Saiyan in slot 2, and you're going to be cooking with these guys. So he raises defense for 1 turn, causes immense damage, and greatly lowers attack and defense on his super. Saiyan Lineage, Saiyan Warrior Race, Royal Lineage, Loyalty, Berserker, Prepare for Battle, and Shattering the Limit. He's on Pure Saiyan, Vegeta Family, Corroded Body and Mind, Time Traveler, Story Figure, crossover in Dragon Ball Heroes. I actually can't wait to run this unit. He used to be my favorite unit to run with this AGL Black Mask Saiyan back in the day. So I'm glad that I actually get to run them again. So, let's see, the Black Mask Saiyan, Dragon Ball Heroes category or Extreme AGL, 130%. He gets Key +3, attack and defense 160% when attacking, plus an additional attack and defense 120. Launch an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super and high chance of performing a crit when there are 3 or more crossover category allies on the team. And it performs a crit when the enemy's name is Goku. So they didn't give him a lot. They didn't give him anything really. Raise the stats and that's about it. Still gonna be fun to run him though. Raise attack and defense for 1 turn, costs immense damage and lowers attack and defense. Saiyan lineage, Saiyan warrior race, royal lineage, prodigies, berserker, prepare for battle, shattering the limit. And he's on Pure Saiyan, Vegeta family, corroded body and mind, gifted warrior, time traveler, crossover, and Dragon Ball Heroes. And of course, his best linking partner is going to be the Dark Mask King. Like I said, very, very fun combo to run. Then we got the physical Demigra that got an easy A. Dragon Ball Heroes category or Extreme Fizz, 130%. There's a lot of Extreme class units that got easy A's. Attack and defense 140%, plus an additional attack and defense 70% when performing a super. Extreme class allies key +4 and defense 40%. Pretty good support there. All enemies attack and defense -30%, plus an additional attack 20% per crossover category ally on the team, plus an additional defense 10% per extreme class ally on the team. So run him on an extreme crossover team and he's going to be cooking. Greatly raises attack defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage to enemy. Master of Magic, Demonic Power, Brainiacs, Revival, Fear and Faith, Godly Power, Shattering the Limit. And categories: Realm of Gods, Resurrected Warriors, Time Traveler, Storied Figures, Crossover, and Dragon Ball Heroes. And his best linking partner is going to be the AGL Mechikabra. He's going to get an easy A maybe next year, I want to say. So, you know, we'll check the Demigra out. He might be okay. Alright, so these next 3 are kind of like the ones I wanted to check out the most here. So, Tech Easy A Broly. Giant 8 Power 150%. He gets attack and defense 150% when performing a super. Key +2 and launch an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super when there's another Giant 8 Power category ally in the same attacking in the same turn. Launch an additional super when all allies attacking the same turn are Giant 8 Power category characters. And then plus an additional attack and defense 30% with each attack, with each super performed up to 150. So he's got a super 5 times. They did not give him much. I mean, he's got 150% attack and defense when launches a super. He can get up to an additional attack and defense 150% after he supers 5 times. Then he gets 2 key and a high chance to super when there's a Giant 8 Power attack in the same turn, and launch an additional super when all allies in the same turn are Giant 8 Power. Like, oh, that's disappointing. They did not give that Broly like anything. Super greatly raises attack and raises defense for 1 turn, cause immense damage to the enemy and greatly lower defense. That's kind of useless. Saiyan Warrior Race, Super Saiyan, Nightmare, Brutal Beatdown, Prepare for Battle, Saiyan Roar, and Fierce Battle. He's on Pure Saiyan, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Giant 8 Power, Time Traveler, Crossover, and Heroes. And of course his best linking partner is going to be the Int Limit Breaker Broly. That's so disappointing. That Broly is not very good. Alright, we're just going to go to the next one because that Broly is just not very good. I kind of like this card art effect. I'm not going to lie. So the Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, they just got an easy A. Crossover 180%. That's pretty good. Actually, not a bad leader skill. Attack and defense 180%, plus an additional attack and defense 60% when performing a super. Crossover category allies key +1 and attack and defense 30%. Giant 8 Power category allies key +1 and attack and defense 30%. Okay, so he's gonna be buffing the AGL Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. Reduce damage received by 5% per crossover or Giant 8 Power category ally on the team, depending on which category has more members. I like that. That's either crossover or Giant 8. High chance to nullify enemy super attack and counter with tremendous power. Super attack greatly raises defense for 1 turn, causes immense damage to enemy. He's on Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, Fuse Fighter, Power bestowed by God, prepared for battle, Saiyan Roar, and Fierce Battle. He's got good categories: Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Patara, Fuse Fighter, Kamehameha, Giant A Power, Time Limit, Final Trump Card, Time Traveler, Defender of Justice, Battle of Wits, Crossover, and Dragon Ball Heroes. So of course his best linking partner is going to be the AGL, like I said, the AGL Limit Breaker Vegito. This Vegito is actually going to be pretty good. He's got good support, he's got damage reduction, and he's going to have pretty decent stats, so I like what they did with him. Let's see, Demon Goddess Toa. She's going to be interesting here, because they usually have done pretty well with like these Toa units in terms of support. So she's a Dragon Ball Heroes category ally, or Dragon Ball Heroes category key 4, attack and defense 150%. Attack and defense 180. All allies key +3, attack and defense 40%. So right off the get-go, she's supporting them there. High chance of an additional attack 10% for all allies, or plus 10% for all allies. High chance of additional defense plus 40% for all allies. High chance of evading enemies' attacks when HP is 50% or more. Extreme class allies attack and defense 60% and recovers 50% HP when HP is 50% or less once only. Okay. Plus an additional attack and defense 40% up to 120 with each attack evaded. Okay, so you kind of just build her like full dodge, essentially, because she's just like a support unit. She's probably not going to hit super hard, but she's going to support pretty well. Super attack raises attack for 1 turn, causes immense damage, lowers attack and seals. She's on Demonic Power, Solid Support, Battlefield Diva, Master of Magic, Thirst for Conquest, Scientist, Shattering the Limit. That's her links. She's on Peppy Gal, Sibling Bond, Time Traveler, Dragon Ball Seekers, Terrifying Conqueror, Battle of Wits, Crossover, and Dragon Ball Heroes. And of course, her 2 best linking partners are going to be the STR free-to-play Toa and the AGL Toa that Easy-Aid last year. And the last unit that we're going to check out is going to be the Tech Xeno Trunks here. So he's tech type, key +3, attack and defense 77%. He gets attack and defense 100% plus key +3 plus an additional attack and defense 100% when facing only 1 enemy, plus an additional defense 150% when facing 2 or more enemies, plus an additional attack and defense 100% and perform a crit when the character is the only Defender of Justice category ally on the team. Okay. That's really dumb right there. High chance of forcing enemy super attack. Okay, so he's got Scouter. And all allies key +1 up to 3 and attack and defense 7% up to 35% per Defender of Justice category ally on the team when there is another Defender of Justice category ally on the team. Okay, so he gets an additional attack and defense 100% and performs a crit when the character is the only Defender of Justice on the team, but then he gets a Scouter and supports if there's another Defender of Justice category ally on the team. I would probably honestly run him more for the support than I will for the extra attack and defense 100%. Plus an additional defense 100% and high chance of performing a crit when attacking extreme class enemies. That's pretty good because you'll probably use him for against a lot of extreme class enemies anyway. Super attack raises defense for 1 turn, costs supreme damage to enemy and greatly lower defense. He has Cold Judgment, Solid Support, Patrol, Bombardment, Xenoverse, Super Strike, Shattering the Limit, so his link says it's just not very good. He's on Hybrid Saiyans, Vegeta Family, Bond of Parent Child, Bond of Master and Disciple, Earthbred Fighters, Time Traveler, Defender of Justice, and Trusted Will, Battle of Wits, and Crossover. and his best linking partner is going to be the AGL Super Saiyan Xeno Trunks. So that is, that's kind of, I mean, that was a lot of information. It's a little bit of a longer video, so I apologize about that, but there was just so much that we had to kind of go over with all of these units that are dropping. So I like them. I think this year's batch of units is actually pretty well made, way better than last year's. So hopefully they'll kind of keep that trend going with like the future of Heroes units and EZAs. Hopefully they just don't give the future unit, like EZA units, the Tech Super Saiyan 4 Broly EZA treatment like that. That was just terrible. But if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure you guys hit that like button. Please make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.